Get your filthy white hands off that first-class ticket. You trust fund Travis Harrington spit hits Captain Elena Rodriguez's face as he rips the boarding pass from her fingers. His TSA badge gleams under fluorescent lights while he towers over the impeccably dressed Latina woman. People like you mooch off hard-working Americans. He slams her briefcase to the ground, scattering classified CIA documents across Gate 27's dirty floor. Elena's Air Force blazer tears as Travis shoves her against the metal detector. Her grandfather's Vietnam War pin clatters into a trash bin. Blood trickles from her split lip. Security. Arrest this border-jumping fraud for document forgery. Passengers circle with phones recording. Children stare wide-eyed. Gate agents freeze in terror. Elena kneels silently, gathering her papers with steady hands. Despite the humiliation, the TSA supervisor doesn't know he just assaulted someone who outranks every person in this airport. Radio crackles. Federal escort approaching Gate 27. John F. Kennedy International Airport pulses with Wednesday morning energy. Business travelers clutch coffee cups like lifelines. Families juggle strollers and carry-on bags. Gate announcements echo through Terminal 4's glass corridors, while sunrise paints the Hudson River golden outside floor-to-ceiling windows. Elena Rodriguez had arrived 2 hours early for her 10:30 a.m. Langley flight. The VIP lounge still smells like leather and fresh newspapers, where she reviewed classified intelligence reports. Her son Miguel's good luck text glows on her phone screen. "Mom, you're going to crush that briefing. Love you." The 45-year-old retired Air Force captain moves through the terminal with unmistakable military bearing. Her pressed Navy blazer, tailored perfectly, bears her late grandfather's Vietnam War service pin, a small bronze star that catches airport lighting. 22 years of Air Force intelligence service trained her spine straight, shoulders back, eyes forward. Her leather briefcase contains documents that could prevent an international incident. 3 Joint Chiefs await her analysis of emerging threats in Latin America. The weight of national security responsibility feels familiar on her shoulders. Travis Harrington starts his shift at 7 a.m., with resentment already boiling. 8 years of TSA employment, countless diversity training sessions he calls woke indoctrination, and a recent written warning for inappropriate passenger interactions have left him bitter. His supervisor badge feels heavier each day. The 38-year-old white man grew up believing his Ivy League rejection was stolen by affirmative action. When life delivered disappointment instead, community college dropout, failed NYPD Academy application, dead-end security job, he found targets for his rage. Airport terminals provide endless opportunities to exercise power over people he considers beneath him. His personnel file contains 47 complaints buried by bureaucratic indifference. Passengers of color mysteriously trigger random additional screenings. His body camera malfunctions during questionable interactions. Fellow TSA agents avoid working his shifts. Terminal 4's security checkpoint buzzes with new facial recognition technology and metal detectors that beep constantly. Travelers remove shoes, laptops, and dignity in equal measure. The morning rush creates perfect chaos for someone seeking opportunities to abuse authority. Elena approaches the first-class boarding area at Gate 27 precisely on schedule. Her CIA-issued government travel authorization bears official seals and clearance codes. The gate agent, Lisa Chen, smiles professionally while scanning the documents. Travis notices the interaction from across the corridor. A well-dressed Latina woman boarding first class triggers his deepest prejudices. He strides over with clipboard in hand, badge prominent on his chest, radio crackling with security chatter. The gate area fills with typical travelers. Business executives check smartphones impatiently. A military family in civilian clothes heads to California. Elderly passengers request wheelchair assistance. Children press faces against windows, watching planes taxi. Elena's composure reflects decades of breaking barriers in male-dominated military environments. She earned her Silver Star in Afghanistan, commanded intelligence units in Iraq, and briefed generals who initially dismissed her expertise. Airport discrimination feels familiar, but no less insulting. Her morning routine included video calls with Joint Chief Staff reviewing satellite imagery that only a dozen people worldwide have seen. The briefcase handcuffed to her wrist contains analysis that could reshape Caribbean policy. Yet to Travis Harrington, she's just another suspicious Latina woman. Terminal security cameras record everything from multiple angles. Body cameras on TSA agents capture audio and video. Passengers instinctively reach for phones when confrontations begin. The digital age makes hiding discrimination increasingly difficult. Travis's radio crackles with routine security updates, flight delays, passenger assistance requests. Maintenance notifications blend into background noise. He keys his microphone, preparing to create his own emergency situation. The morning sun climbs higher, casting long shadows through Terminal 4's architecture. Coffee shops fill with travelers seeking caffeine courage for business meetings. Gift shops sell overpriced souvenirs to tourists. Departure boards update constantly with gate changes and delays. Elena checks her watch. 30 minutes until boarding begins. Her Langley briefing is scheduled for 1:20 p.m. The classified intelligence she carries could prevent military conflict in 3 different regions. Her expertise earned through blood and sacrifice commands respect from world leaders. But in Travis Harrington's narrow worldview, she's just another target for his frustrated authority. He approaches Gate 27 with a clipboard raised like a weapon, badge gleaming under fluorescent lights, prejudice burning in his eyes. The collision between dignity and hatred is 30 seconds away. Passengers continue their morning routines, unaware they're about to witness either justice or another triumph of systemic racism. Neither Elena nor Travis knows this encounter will reshape TSA policies nationwide and destroy one career while elevating another to legendary status. The stage is set for either triumph or tragedy. "Excuse me, ma'am." Travis Harrington's voice carries false politeness as he intercepts Elena at the boarding counter. His clipboard blocks her path while his badge catches fluorescent lighting. "I need to verify these documents." Lisa Chen, the gate agent, freezes mid-scan. Her dark eyes dart between Travis's aggressive stance and Elena's patient expression. The morning boarding process halts as tension thickens like storm clouds gathering over the Hudson River. "Is there a problem, officer?" Elena's military training keeps her voice steady, despite recognizing the familiar pattern. 22 years of service taught her when to fight battles and when to survive encounters with hostile authority. Travis snatches her boarding pass and CIA travel authorization with deliberate roughness. His thick fingers leave greasy smudges on the official documents while he examines them with exaggerated suspicion. The government seals and classified markings mean nothing to his prejudiced eyes. These look suspicious. Government travel. He snorts dismissively, waving the papers like trash. "Right, and I'm the President of the United States. You probably printed these at some copy shop this morning." The insult hits Elena like a physical blow, but her composure remains unshaken. Her grandfather faced similar degradation during Vietnam War service when Latino soldiers fought for a country that didn't respect them. Military bearing runs in her bloodline deeper than Travis's hatred. "Those documents are legitimate, sir. I'm traveling on official CIA business for a classified intelligence briefing." Elena's response maintains professional courtesy, despite the mounting humiliation burning in her chest. "CIA business?" Travis's laughter echoes across Gate 27, drawing uncomfortable stares from nearby passengers. Lady, you can't even afford real jewelry. Look at this cheap costume crap. He flicks her grandfather's Vietnam War service pin with his dirty fingernail, sending it spinning on her lapel. The disrespect towards her grandfather's military sacrifice ignites fury in Elena's chest. But years of breaking barriers in male-dominated environments taught her emotional control. She breathes deeply, centering herself like a meditation master. Passengers begin forming a semicircle around the confrontation. Smartphones emerge from pockets and purses like digital weapons. The morning rush transforms into an impromptu arena where dignity battles prejudice under harsh fluorescent lighting. Sir, I need to board my flight in 20 minutes. Elena glances at her watch. Departure approaches rapidly. Her Langley briefing cannot be delayed. 3 joint chiefs await intelligence that could prevent international conflicts. You're not boarding anything until I'm satisfied these documents are real. Travis keys his radio with theatrical authority, speaking loudly enough for nearby passengers to hear every word. Security to Gate 27. Suspicious passenger with questionable documentation and possible terrorist connections. The radio crackles to life with static and urgency. Copy that, Travis. Backup units en route. ETA is 3 minutes. Elena's military training screams warnings through her consciousness. Escalation without justification. Abuse of authority. Racial profiling disguised as legitimate security protocol. But speaking out could jeopardize her classified mission and national security. A well-dressed business traveler in an expensive Navy suit steps forward cautiously. Excuse me, officer, but this seems unnecessary. The lady's documents look completely official to my eyes. Travis whirls on the man with venomous fury, his face reddening like a boiling lobster. Did I ask for your opinion, genius? Step back before you become part of this problem and miss your precious flight. The businessman retreats quickly, unwilling to sacrifice his own comfort for abstract justice. Elena notes his cowardice without judgment. Not everyone can afford heroism in America's institutional racism battlefield. 3 additional TSA agents arrive at Travis's summons, looking uncomfortable with his obvious overreach and growing crowd attention. Agent Jennifer Lee checks her body camera carefully, ensuring it's recording properly. Agent Carlos Ramirez exchanges worried glances with colleagues who recognize Travis's problematic patterns. What's the situation here, Travis? Agent Lee asks professionally, trying to diffuse the escalating tension. Suspicious documents that scream forgery, possible identity theft. She claims to work for the CIA. Travis's voice drips with theatrical sarcasm while he waves Elena's legitimate paperwork like evidence in a criminal trial. Agent Ramirez examines the documents briefly with trained eyes. These look completely authentic to me, Travis. The seals are correct. The formatting matches government standards. The paper quality indicates official printing. I'm the supervisor here. Travis snaps, cutting off his colleague's reasonable assessment. I make the final determinations about suspicious activity and security threats. The growing crowd murmurs disapproval like distant thunder. An elderly white woman clutches her husband's arm tightly. Harold, this isn't right. That poor woman hasn't done anything wrong. This is pure harassment. Travis's face reddens as public opinion shifts decisively against him. Cornered animals become exponentially more dangerous. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to step aside for comprehensive additional screening. Additional screening for what specific purpose? Elena's question carries military authority that makes Travis flinch involuntarily, like a scolded child. Because I said so. That's all the legal reason I need. He grabs Elena's elbow roughly, attempting to steer her toward a private screening area away from witness cameras. Elena doesn't resist physically, but her military bearing remains perfectly intact. Officer, you're violating established TSA protocol. I haven't triggered any legitimate security concerns that would justify additional screening procedures. Don't tell me how to do my job. Travis's professional composure cracks completely, like breaking glass. You people always think you know better than law enforcement officers. The phrase "you people" hangs in the recycled airport air like toxic poison gas. Passengers gasp audibly in shocked recognition. Phone cameras focus tighter on Travis's sweating face. The mask of professional authority slips completely, revealing naked racism underneath. A young Latina mother instinctively covers her daughter's ears protectively. A black businessman shakes his head in disgusted recognition of familiar prejudice. An Asian college student live streams the encounter on social media with trembling hands. What exactly do you mean by "you people, Officer Harrington?" Elena's question forces Travis to confront his own prejudice in full public view. Travis realizes his verbal mistake, but doubles down rather than retreat strategically. People who think rules don't apply to them. People who cry racism every time they get caught breaking federal law. What specific law have I broken? Elena's military precision dissects his flimsy argument with surgical accuracy that leaves no room for evasion. Travis's eyes dart around desperately, searching for justification that doesn't exist. Suspicious behavior patterns, fraudulent government documents, failure to cooperate with federal security personnel. None of those allegations are factually accurate. Elena's voice carries the unshakable authority of someone who briefed Langley directors and challenged Joint Chiefs strategies. You're harassing me based solely on my ethnicity, not legitimate security concerns. The direct accusation hits Travis like a physical slap across his privileged face. Public racism accusations threaten his career, his authority, his carefully constructed self-image as a professional law enforcement officer. That's it. Travis explodes with uncontrolled rage, spittle flying from his twisted mouth. You're under citizen's arrest for threatening a federal officer and inciting public disturbance. The completely absurd charges draw nervous laughter from the assembled crowd. Agent Lee steps forward, clearly uncomfortable with Travis's dangerous escalation. Travis, maybe we should contact your supervisor. And shut up, Lee. I'm handling this situation according to proper protocol. Travis's authority dissolves as his colleagues visibly distance themselves from his obvious misconduct. Elena remains perfectly motionless, hands clearly visible, posture completely non-threatening. Military survival training taught her tactics for dealing with unstable authority figures. Stay calm. Document everything. Wait for proper backup. The confrontation reaches critical mass as Travis's hatred collides with Elena's unshakable composure. Neither participant realizes how completely the power dynamic is about to reverse in the next 60 seconds. Travis's hands shake with uncontrolled rage as he grabs Elena's briefcase with both fists, his knuckles white with tension. I'm confiscating this until we determine what criminal contraband you're hiding inside. The premium leather handle tears under his violent grip, classified documents becoming visible through the partially opened zipper. Officer Harrington, that briefcase contains classified materials protected under federal law. Elena's voice carries steel beneath silk, each word precisely measured. You lack proper security clearance to examine those contents without violating national security protocols. Classified materials. Travis's laughter echoes across Gate 27 like breaking glass, his sanity fraying visibly. Lady, I've seen better fake IDs at freshman college parties. This whole elaborate act is absolutely pathetic. He dumps the briefcase contents across Gate 27's dirty floor with vindictive satisfaction, watching papers scatter like fallen autumn leaves. Top-secret CIA intelligence reports mix with terrorist threat assessments. Satellite photographs of Latin American military installations land beside coffee-stained napkins and discarded gum wrappers. Passengers gasp audibly at the obvious government seals and bold classification markings. Agent Lee recognizes legitimate intelligence materials immediately, her eyes widening with professional alarm. Travis, stop this immediately. Those documents appear genuinely classified. Shut your traitorous mouth, Lee! Travis screams, his face turning deep purple with unhinged fury. These are obviously fake props for some elaborate welfare scam designed to defraud hard-working taxpayers. Elena kneels carefully on the dirty terminal floor, gathering scattered papers that could reshape international policy and prevent military conflicts. Her hands remain perfectly steady, despite internal turmoil burning in her chest. Each document represents months of intelligence-gathering analysis that could save American lives overseas. Travis kicks a terrorism assessment report viciously, grinding his boot heel directly into the presidential seal with deliberate disrespect. Look at this cheap Hollywood garbage. You probably downloaded these fancy templates from some cartel website. Those documents are completely authentic. Agent Ramirez whispers urgently to his colleague, sweat beading on his forehead. The paper quality, the specialized printing, the classification formatting, that's genuine government documentation. Travis overhears the whispered conversation and whirls on both agents like a rabid animal. Are you questioning my supervisory authority? Maybe you're both part of this elaborate terrorist conspiracy. The paranoid accusation sends both experienced agents stepping backward in alarm. Travis's mental state deteriorates rapidly under mounting public pressure and his own delusional racist fantasies. Sweat pours down his reddened face, despite the terminal's aggressive air conditioning. Elena continues collecting sensitive papers with military precision. Her movements controlled and purposeful. Her grandfather's Vietnam War service pin catches bright morning sunlight streaming through terminal windows, a tangible reminder of maintaining dignity under hostile fire. Stand up immediately, Travis orders harshly, positioning himself uncomfortably close to Elena's kneeling form. I said stand up when your superior is addressing you directly. His aggressive proximity violates every established professional protocol and personal boundary. Elena rises gracefully from the floor, maintaining a safe 2-arm-length distance for personal protection. Her extensive military training recognizes dangerous escalation patterns in Travis's increasingly unstable body language. Officer Harrington, I'm formally requesting immediate supervisor intervention. Elena's diplomatic tone cuts through Travis's mounting hysteria like a sharpened blade. Your conduct violates multiple federal civil rights statutes and TSA regulations. I am the supervisor. Travis shrieks hysterically, spittle flying from his twisted mouth, invisible droplets, and I'm ordering a comprehensive strip search for hidden weapons and terrorist contraband. The assembled crowd erupts in shocked murmurs and gasps of disbelief. Strip searches require probable cause. Same-gender officers and private screening facilities. Travis's outrageous demand violates every established protocol while revealing his sadistic psychological intentions. That's completely inappropriate and legally prohibited. Agent Lee protests loudly, her voice carrying across the terminal. Travis, you need to step back and regain your composure immediately. Travis completely ignores his colleague's reasonable advice, focusing entirely on publicly humiliating Elena before the growing audience of shocked witnesses. Empty your pockets completely. Remove all jewelry immediately. Take off that stolen military pin. I will not comply with illegal search demands that violate constitutional protections. Elena's refusal carries quiet authority that makes Travis's left eye twitch violently with frustrated rage. His radio crackles with an urgent incoming transmission from airport operations. Supervisor Harrington, federal agents are requesting immediate access to Gate 27. Please respond to this priority communication. Travis keys his radio with visibly trembling fingers, his voice cracking under stress. Negative on federal access. I'm actively handling a major security threat. No outside interference required or authorized. The radio transmission continues with increased urgency. Sir, these federal agents specifically requested access to escort a CIA passenger. Please confirm the current passenger status immediately. Travis's existing paranoia explodes into full-blown conspiracy theory delusions. It's all connected. She's obviously some sophisticated cartel operative with federal government accomplices planted throughout the system. He reaches aggressively for Elena's military blazer, attempting to tear off her grandfather's precious service pin by brute force. I'm confiscating this fake military insignia as evidence of stolen valor and federal impersonation. Elena steps backward protectively, shielding her grandfather's honored memory from Travis's defiling touch. Officer, you're committing assault and violating numerous federal regulations governing civilian treatment. You don't give orders to me. Travis lunges forward aggressively, grabbing Elena's shoulder with bruising force. I'm placing you under citizen's arrest for impersonating military personnel and threatening federal officers. Agent Ramirez finally intervenes physically, grasping Travis's wrist firmly to prevent further assault. Travis, stop this behavior right now. You're way over every possible line. Travis shoves his experienced colleague backward violently, sending him stumbling into nearby seats. Don't touch me. You're all part of this massive conspiracy against American homeland security. The violent confrontation draws immediate airport police attention from across the terminal. 3 uniformed officers approach cautiously, uncertain whether to support TSA authority or intervene against obvious abuse of power. Their professional confusion creates jurisdictional chaos that Travis exploits expertly. Airport police, arrest this dangerous terrorist immediately. Travis points at Elena dramatically, his fingers shaking with uncontrolled rage. She's carrying sophisticated fake government documents and directly threatening federal security officers. Officer Jessica Kim examines the scattered intelligence reports with professional skepticism and growing concern. The classification markings, specialized paper quality, and official government seals appear completely legitimate to her trained law enforcement eyes. Ma'am, can you provide additional identification for verification? Officer Kim asks Elena respectfully, completely ignoring Travis's hysterical demands and accusations. Elena produces her military identification card, CIA access badge, and official government travel orders with calm efficiency. Each document reinforces her legitimate authority while highlighting Travis's obvious professional misconduct. Travis snatches the military ID from Officer Kim's hands roughly. This is obviously sophisticated forgery. Look at the suspiciously poor photograph quality. He attempts to bend the military identification card forcefully, testing its structural durability. Military ID cards resist his destructive efforts due to specialized government construction materials. Travis's complete ignorance about authentic military credentials becomes embarrassingly obvious to everyone watching. Sir, that appears to be completely legitimate military identification. Officer Kim observes diplomatically, trying to defuse the escalating situation. You're all professionally incompetent. Travis screams at everyone within immediate earshot, his voice echoing off terminal glass. Can't any of you recognize this elaborate criminal fraud? His radio crackles again with mounting urgency from Airport Operations Control. All available units, federal agents are now at the main security checkpoint, requesting immediate escort to Gate 27. Please respond to this priority directive. Travis smashes his radio violently against the hard terminal floor, silencing the incoming transmission completely. No federal interference. I'm handling this critical situation according to established protocol. The deliberately destroyed radio represents Travis's complete psychological break from reality and professional authority. His horrified colleagues exchange deeply worried glances, recognizing dangerous mental instability in their supervisor's deteriorating behavior. Elena maintains perfect military composure despite the escalating chaos swirling around her like a violent storm. Extensive combat training prepared her for hostile enemy environments, but civilian airport discrimination feels more personally violating than foreign combat zones. "Ma'am, are you all right?" A genuinely concerned elderly passenger asks quietly, approaching with visible worry. Should someone call 911 for emergency assistance before Elena can respond appropriately? Travis overhears the innocent question and explodes with fresh rage. "She's perfectly fine. Mind your own business before I have you arrested for interfering with federal investigations." The direct threat against innocent bystanders demonstrates Travis's complete abandonment of professional restraint and basic human decency. His authority complex transforms rapidly into paranoid delusions of conspiracy and systematic persecution. Multiple airport security cameras capture every moment from different strategic angles. Body camera footage records Travis's violations and Elena's dignified responses in high definition. Social media posts spread the confrontation globally within minutes. Airport racism trending rapidly across platforms. Travis plants himself directly in front of Elena aggressively, violating personal space with obvious intimidation tactics. "I'm conducting an official field interview about your suspicious activities and possible terrorist connections to foreign enemies. Officer Harrington, you lack probable cause for any investigation." Elena responds with military legal precision. "You're violating my constitutional rights under the color of federal authority." The precise legal language infuriates Travis beyond rational thought. "Don't quote constitutional law to me. I am the law within this airport facility." His megalomania reaches dangerous psychological peaks as 3 FBI agents approach Gate 27 with purposeful measured strides. Travis remains completely oblivious to the approaching federal authority that will shatter his racist power fantasy within 60 seconds. The terminal's ambient noise suddenly shifts as heavy footsteps echo across polished floors. 3 figures in dark suits move through the crowd with unmistakable federal authority, their synchronized stride cutting through morning chaos like a knife through butter. Travis notices the approaching agents and straightens his posture triumphantly. Finally, real law enforcement to handle this terrorist situation. He waves his arms dramatically, directing their attention toward Elena. "Officers, I've apprehended a dangerous suspect with forged government documents." The lead agent, Special Agent Jessica Kim, reaches Gate 27, with her colleagues flanking her professionally. Her sharp eyes scan the scattered classified documents, Travis's aggressive stance, and Elena's composed dignity in a single sweeping assessment. "Federal Bureau of Investigation," Agent Kim announces clearly, displaying her credentials for the assembled crowd. "We're here for our scheduled escort assignment." Travis's confidence swells like a balloon, ready to burst. "Excellent timing. This woman has been impersonating military personnel and threatening federal officers. I recommend immediate arrest for terrorism-related charges." Agent Kim steps past Travis completely, ignoring his existence as if he were invisible furniture. Her gaze locks onto Elena with unmistakable recognition and something Travis doesn't expect: profound respect. "Captain Rodriguez." Agent Kim's voice carries military formality as she comes to attention. "We've been waiting for you, ma'am." The words hit Travis like a physical slap. His mouth drops open mid-sentence, revealing his shocked confusion to every recording phone camera. The triumphant expression melts from his face like ice in summer heat. Agent Kim raises her right hand in perfect military salute, holding the position with unwavering precision. Her 2 colleagues immediately follow suit, their synchronized movement creating a moment of stunning reverence that silences the entire terminal. The 3 FBI agents stand frozen in respectful salute, while Travis's world collapses around him like a house of cards. Passengers gasp audibly, phones capture every angle, and social media explodes with the dramatic power reversal. "Ma'am, We apologize for any delay in our arrival. Agent Kim continues, maintaining her salute. Langley Operations sent us to escort you to your classified briefing with the Joint Chiefs. Travis's face cycles through emotions like a broken traffic light. Confusion, disbelief, horror, and dawning realization of his catastrophic mistake. The woman he's been humiliating commands more respect than his entire career. At ease, agents, Elena responds with natural military authority, returning their salute briefly. Thank you for your punctuality despite the complications. Agent Kim lowers her hand and surveys the chaos around Gate 27 with professional assessment. Scattered classified documents, hostile TSA supervisor, crowd of witnesses, multiple phone recordings. The situation requires immediate federal intervention. Captain, are these your classified materials? Agent Kim gestures toward the scattered CIA reports covering the dirty floor like fallen snow. Yes, Agent Kim. They were forcibly removed from my briefcase during an unlawful search. Elena's response carries steel wrapped in diplomatic silk, each word precisely chosen for maximum legal impact. Travis finally finds his voice, though it cracks with desperate panic. Wait, there's been some misunderstanding. I was just following standard security protocols for suspicious passengers. Agent Kim turns toward Travis for the first time, her gaze cold enough to freeze plasma. And you are? TSA Supervisor Travis Harrington. Ma'am, I was conducting a routine security verification when you assaulted a decorated war hero and scattered classified intelligence across a public terminal. Agent Kim interrupts, her voice carrying the authority of federal law enforcement. Travis's face drains of color as the full scope of his situation becomes crystal clear. I didn't know she was in the military. Her documents looked suspicious. Anyone could have faked those credentials. Anyone except someone with Captain Rodriguez's security clearance and CIA authorization, Agent Kim replies icily, which you would have verified through proper channels instead of conducting an illegal search. The crowd's murmur grows louder as passengers realize they've witnessed something extraordinary, a decorated military officer being saluted by FBI agents, while a racist TSA supervisor faces federal consequences for his abuse of power. Agent Kim, we need to collect this classified material immediately, one of her colleagues observes, kneeling to gather the scattered documents with appropriate security protocols. Agreed. Gloves and evidence bags, chain of custody documentation. Agent Kim's professional efficiency contrasts sharply with Travis's earlier chaos and incompetence. Travis watches his authority evaporate like morning mist as federal agents take control of the situation. His colleagues distance themselves physically and professionally, their body language screaming denials of association with his misconduct. Ma'am, your Langley briefing is scheduled in 90 minutes. Agent Kim informs Elena respectfully. We have a secured vehicle standing by for immediate transport. Thank you, Agent Kim. I appreciate the Bureau's assistance in this matter. Elena's gracious response demonstrates the class and dignity that Travis's racism couldn't break. Agent Lee approaches cautiously, her body camera still recording. Agent Kim, I want to clarify that not all TSA personnel supported Supervisor Harrington's actions. Several of us objected to his conduct. Noted. For the record, Agent Lee, we'll need your incident report and body camera footage for our civil rights investigation. Agent Kim's tone remains professional, but slightly warmer toward the cooperative TSA agent. Travis's panic reaches fever pitch as he realizes federal agents are building a case against him. This is all a huge misunderstanding. I was protecting airport security. Someone should commend my vigilance. Someone will evaluate your actions thoroughly, Agent Kim replies with ominous finality. In federal court, the power dynamic has reversed completely. Travis's racist authority lies in ruins, while Elena's dignity and service record shine brighter under FBI recognition. Justice prepares to balance the scales with overwhelming force. Passengers begin applauding spontaneously, their phones capturing Elena's vindication and Travis's impending downfall. The truth reveals itself with devastating clarity. Honor trumps hatred every single time. Travis's legs tremble visibly as the full weight of his catastrophic mistake crashes down like an avalanche. His voice cracks with desperate panic as he stammers pathetic excuses to anyone who might listen. I was just following standard protocols. There's been a terrible misunderstanding. Sweat pours down his reddened face, despite the terminal's air conditioning. The documents looked suspicious. Anyone could have made that same mistake. Agent Kim fixes Travis with a stare that could melt steel. Supervisor Harrington, you violated multiple federal statutes, including civil rights violations, assault on military personnel, and mishandling of classified materials. Civil rights violations. Travis's voice rises to a panicked squeak. I never mentioned ethnicity, and this had nothing to do with her being Latina. The crowd erupts in disgusted laughter at his transparent denial. Dozens of phone recordings captured every racist word and gesture. Social media posts already spreading globally tell a very different story than Travis's desperate revisionist history. Ma'am, we have 47 previous complaints against Supervisor Harrington in TSA files. Agent Lee reveals quietly to Agent Kim, all involving passengers of color. Management buried most of them in bureaucratic procedures. Travis's face turns ash gray as his pattern of discrimination becomes public knowledge. Those complaints were all investigated and dismissed. I was cleared of any wrongdoing. Buried and cleared are two very different things. Agent Kim observes coldly. We'll be reviewing every single case with federal oversight. Airport manager Robert Chen finally arrives at Gate 27, his expensive shoes clicking frantically across the terminal floor. He'd been hiding in his office until the situation became too public to ignore. Agent Kim, I'm Robert Chen, Terminal Operations Manager. TSA headquarters sent me to assess this regrettable incident. Her carefully practiced corporate speak fools nobody present. Mr. Chen, your employee assaulted a decorated military officer and compromised classified national security materials. Agent Kim states bluntly, where were you during this 40-minute confrontation? Chen's rehearsed explanations crumble under federal scrutiny. I was handling other urgent matters. Supervisor Harrington acted without authorization or approval from management. 47 complaints, and you never noticed a pattern. Agent Kim's skepticism cuts through Chen's deflections like acid through paper. Travis realizes his supervisors are abandoning him completely. Robert, you know I've always been a dedicated employee. Tell them about my commendations and performance reviews. Chen steps backward, distancing himself physically from Travis's contaminated presence. Supervisor Harrington's actions don't reflect TSA values or training standards. We're launching an immediate internal investigation. Too late for internal investigations, Agent Kim replies firmly. This is now a federal case under FBI jurisdiction. She produces Miranda rights cards and begins reading Travis his constitutional protections. Travis Harrington. You're under arrest for violation of civil rights under color of authority, assault, and interference with classified materials. Travis's knees buckle as handcuffs click around his wrists with metallic finality. This is insane. I was doing my job. You can't arrest me for following security procedures. You followed no legitimate procedures. Agent Kim corrects him. You conducted an illegal search, destroyed government property, and assaulted a military officer based solely on racial prejudice. Passengers applaud loudly as Travis is escorted away in federal custody. Children point excitedly while their parents explain the difference between right and wrong, justice and injustice. Supervisor Harrington's badge and credentials are suspended immediately pending investigation outcome. Chen announces desperately, trying to salvage TSA's reputation. Agent Lee removes Travis's TSA badge and radio equipment officially. "Sir, you're relieved of duty effective immediately. Please surrender all government property." Travis's authority symbols, badge, radio, clipboard, represent 8 years of abusing power over vulnerable people. Their removal feels like losing his identity completely. Elena watches Travis's arrest with quiet satisfaction, but no gloating. Military honor doesn't celebrate fallen enemies, even those who deserve their fate. "Captain Rodriguez, we sincerely apologize for this disgraceful treatment." Chen grovels desperately. "TSA will conduct comprehensive bias training and policy reforms immediately. Actions speak louder than corporate apologies," Elena responds diplomatically. 47 buried complaints suggest systemic problems requiring federal oversight. Agent Kim escorts Travis toward the security checkpoint while her colleagues secure the classified documents properly. "Ma'am, our vehicle is ready for Langley transport whenever you're prepared." Travis's muffled protests fade as he disappears into federal custody. 8 years of institutional racism end in handcuffs and national humiliation broadcast across social media platforms. The crowd begins dispersing, but phones continue recording the aftermath. Elena's dignity throughout the ordeal transforms her into an instant symbol of grace under pressure. "Agent Kim, I'm ready to proceed to my briefing," Elena announces calmly, adjusting her grandfather's military pin that Travis tried to steal. Justice moves swiftly when federal law enforcement witnesses discrimination firsthand. Travis's racist career ends exactly as it should, in complete disgrace and legal consequences. The immediate accountability feels satisfying, but deeper institutional changes will require sustained pressure and federal oversight to prevent future Travis Harringtons from abusing their authority. Within 6 hours of Travis's arrest, CNN breaking news alerts flash across millions of screens nationwide. TSA supervisor arrested for assaulting decorated war hero at JFK Airport. The story spreads like wildfire through every major news network. Anderson Cooper opens his evening broadcast with Elena's story. Tonight, we examine how institutional racism nearly prevented a Langley intelligence briefing that could affect national security. Our investigation reveals a disturbing pattern of discrimination buried by TSA bureaucracy. The network displays Travis's mugshot alongside Elena's military service photos. Silver Star recipient, Bronze Star with Valor, Purple Heart from Afghanistan combat operations. The visual contrast speaks volumes about character and patriotism. 47 complaints against Travis Harrington were filed over 8 years, Cooper continues, his voice carrying controlled outrage. Not one resulted in disciplinary action. Tonight, we speak with victims who tried to hold the TSA accountable. Maria Gonzalez, a Latina businesswoman, appears via satellite from Phoenix. "He made me strip down to my underwear in 2019, claiming my rosary was suspicious. When I complained, TSA said the search was routine procedure." Similar testimonies pour in from across the country. Dr. James Washington, a black cardiologist from Chicago. Fatima Al-Hassan, a Muslim engineer from Detroit. Each story follows identical patterns. Racial profiling disguised as security protocols. The FBI Civil Rights Division launches Operation Airport Justice within 48 hours. Special Agent Rebecca Carter leads a task force reviewing Travis's entire career with forensic precision. We're examining every complaint, every incident report, every body camera malfunction during Harrington's shifts. Agent Carter explains to reporters, "This investigation will determine if criminal conspiracy extends beyond one rogue agent." TSA headquarters scrambles into damage control mode. Director Michael Stevens faces congressional questioning within 72 hours of Travis's arrest. Director Stevens, how did 47 complaints against one supervisor get buried? Congresswoman Alexandria Ramirez demands during the House oversight hearing. Stevens squirms visibly under camera lights. We are reviewing our complaint processing procedures. This appears to be an isolated incident involving poor supervision and documentation failures. Isolated? Ramirez produces a thick folder. We've identified similar patterns at 12 other airports. Your agency has a systemic racism problem. Meanwhile, Travis sits in federal detention, his high-priced attorney struggling against overwhelming evidence. Lawrence Whitfield III, son of privilege and Harvard Law graduate, realizes this case is unwinnable. Travis, we have 47 witnesses, hundreds of hours of video evidence, and federal agents who witnessed your assault. Whitfield explains grimly. The prosecution is offering 15 years. I recommend accepting their plea agreement. Travis's world continues collapsing systematically. His wife files for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences and public humiliation. His suburban home goes into foreclosure as legal fees mount. Former friends avoid his phone calls. This is all her fault. Travis rants to his attorney. That woman destroyed my life with her fake victim act. Whitfield shakes his head in disgust. Travis, Captain Rodriguez served our country for 22 years while you harassed innocent people. Take responsibility for your actions. The Langley briefing. Travis nearly prevented proves crucial to national security. Elena's intelligence analysis helps prevent a terrorist attack on U.S. naval vessels in the Caribbean Sea. Her expertise saves American lives while Travis rots in federal detention. General Patricia Hayes, Joint Chiefs Chair, issues a public statement. Captain Rodriguez exemplifies military excellence and dignified service. The discrimination she faced reflects poorly on our nation's treatment of heroes. 3 months later, Travis's federal trial begins in New York City. Federal Judge Maria Santos presides over proceedings that captivate national attention. Mr. Harrington, you stand accused of violating civil rights under color of authority, assault on military personnel, and obstruction of national security operations, Judge Santos announces. How do you plead? Not guilty, Your Honor, Travis whispers, his voice barely audible. The prosecution presents devastating evidence. Body camera footage shows Travis's racist tirades. Phone videos capture his assault on Elena. TSA colleagues testify about his discriminatory patterns. Agent Lee takes the witness stand reluctantly. Supervisor Harrington frequently targeted minority passengers for additional screening. When we objected, he threatened our job security. Travis's defense crumbles under documentary evidence. Video testimony from 47 victims creates an overwhelming pattern of racial discrimination spanning 8 years. Dr. Sarah Muhammad, a psychology expert, testifies about institutional racism's psychological impact. Victims experienced trauma, anxiety, and loss of faith in American justice systems. Mr. Harrington's actions damaged our social fabric. The prosecution plays airport security footage showing Travis's escalating aggression toward Elena. The jury watches in horror as he kicks classified documents and threatens a decorated war hero. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, U.S. Attorney David Carter addresses the court. Travis Harrington abused federal authority to terrorize citizens based on racial prejudice. This case demands accountability and justice. Travis's attorney attempts damage control. My client made mistakes under pressure. He deserves rehabilitation, not destruction. The jury deliberates for 37 minutes, barely enough time to elect a foreman and review evidence. Their quick decision signals Travis's complete legal defeat. Has the jury reached a verdict? Judge Santos inquires. Yes, Your Honor. We find the defendant guilty on all counts. Travis collapses into his chair as reality crashes down. His 8-year reign of institutional terror ends with federal conviction and public disgrace. Judge Santos delivers sentencing 2 weeks later. Mr. Harrington, you violated the constitutional rights of 47 citizens. Your abuse of authority demands maximum penalties. The court sentences you to 8 years federal imprisonment, followed by 3 years supervised probation. You're permanently barred from federal employment and required to pay $500,000 in civil penalties. Travis's face goes ash white as his future evaporates completely. 8 years in federal prison, financial ruin, permanent disgrace. Justice serves him exactly what he deserves. The courtroom erupts in applause from Travis's victims and their families. Elena sits quietly in the gallery, her dignity intact throughout the proceedings. TSA undergoes comprehensive reforms following Travis's conviction. New bias training, complaint reporting systems, and federal oversight prevent future discrimination patterns. Operation Airport Justice identified systemic problems requiring immediate correction. Agent Carter announces, "We've terminated 12 employees and restructured complaint procedures nationwide." Congressional legislation strengthens civil rights protections for travelers. The Elena Rodriguez Airport Dignity Act mandates bias training, complaint transparency, and victim compensation procedures. Travis's conviction sends shockwaves through federal law enforcement. Officers across the country realize that racial discrimination carries serious consequences in the digital age. 6 months after sentencing, Travis begins his federal prison term at Cumberland Correctional Institution. His orange jumpsuit replaces the TSA uniform that once symbolized his authority over innocent people. Elena's heroic service continues, inspiring young people nationwide. Military recruitment among minorities increases significantly following her dignified example under pressure. Justice moves slowly sometimes, but Travis Harrington discovers that accountability always arrives eventually. His racist career ends exactly where it belongs, behind federal prison bars. 6 months after Travis Harrington's conviction, Captain Elena Rodriguez sits in her Langley office reviewing intelligence reports that prevented 3 terrorist attacks worldwide. Sunlight streams through reinforced windows overlooking the Potomac River, illuminating commendations covering her walls like badges of honor. Her son, Miguel, now a senior at the Air Force Academy, video calls from his dorm room. "Mom, my professor used your airport incident as a case study in leadership under pressure. You're literally in our textbook now." Elena smiles warmly at her son's pride. "Miguel, that day taught me something important. Dignity isn't what others give you. It's what you refuse to surrender." The Langley briefing. Travis tried to prevent led to Operation Silent Shield, a classified mission that neutralized terrorist cells across 4 countries. Elena's intelligence analysis saved hundreds of American lives, while Travis rotted in federal prison. Her office display case holds new awards: Congressional Gold Medal for Distinguished Service, Presidential Medal of Freedom, and dozens of letters from grateful military families. The woman Travis called border-jumping fraud now advises presidents on national security matters. Meanwhile, Cumberland Correctional Institution serves Travis his daily reality check. Orange jumpsuit, concrete walls, steel bars. The federal prison system treats him exactly like every other convicted criminal, regardless of his former authority. His cellmate, Marcus Thompson, was wrongly convicted of robbery 20 years ago before DNA evidence freed him. The irony isn't lost on anyone. A black man teaching a racist about justice and redemption. Travis's family abandoned him completely. His ex-wife remarried a kind veterinarian who treats their children with respect Travis never showed. His former TSA colleagues avoid mentioning his name, ashamed of their past association. The Elena Rodriguez Airport Dignity Act revolutionized federal security protocols nationwide. Bias training became mandatory quarterly. Complaint procedures gained transparency, and victim compensation programs provided real accountability. TSA discrimination complaints dropped 78% following Travis's conviction and systematic reforms. Airport security respects all passengers equally, knowing federal oversight monitors every interaction through enhanced surveillance and reporting systems. Elena travels frequently, now speaking at military academies, corporate conferences, and civil rights organizations. Her message resonates across demographics. Service to our country comes in many forms and faces, but dignity should never depend on uniform or skin color. At Howard University's commencement ceremony, Elena delivers the keynote address to 3,000 graduates and their families. Her words carry weight earned through fire and vindicated by justice. Young people, you'll face Travis Harringtons throughout your careers. People who judge your worth by appearance rather than character. Remember this: their prejudice reveals their weakness, not yours. Travis's former victims find closure through his conviction and systemic changes. Dr. James Washington, the cardiologist Travis humiliated, now chairs TSA's Civil Rights Advisory Board. Maria Gonzalez started a nonprofit supporting discrimination victims. The Travis Harrington case transforms into required curriculum at law schools, police academies, and federal training centers. His racist downfall teaches future officers about constitutional limits and professional consequences. Elena maintains her military bearing while embracing her role as a symbol of grace under pressure. She never gloats about Travis's fate, understanding that true victory comes through positive change, not revenge. Her office receives hundreds of letters weekly from young people inspired by her example. A particularly moving note comes from a Latina teenage girl in Texas. Captain Rodriguez, your strength helps me believe I can serve our country proudly. Every act of courage, no matter how small, creates ripples that can change the world. When you see injustice, you have a choice. Be a bystander or be the change. Choose courage. Choose justice. Choose to speak up. Share this story if you believe dignity and respect should never depend on skin color or background. Follow for more inspiring stories of justice overcoming prejudice and ordinary people creating extraordinary change. Comment below. Tell us about a time you witnessed discrimination or stood up for someone being treated unfairly. Your story matters. Use Dr. Dignity for All to share your own experiences and inspire others to take action. Subscribe for weekly stories that prove courage can defeat hatred every single time. Remember, one person's courage can change an entire system. Your voice matters. Your actions count. Justice waits for heroes willing to stand up. The choice is yours. What will you choose?